You thought they were just myths, stories told around campfires, whispered in the dark to ward off fear. Faded legends inscribed on crumbling tablets, lost to time, and buried beneath centuries of disbelief. But the gods were never just stories. They watched as humanity turned away, forsaking the old ways. They saw their temples crumble, replaced by towers of glass and steel. They listened as their names vanished from mortal tongues, spoken only in jest or in the pages of ancient history. And still they waited. For belief to waver, for the veil between worlds to weaken, for the moment when they could rise again. But the return of one pantheon was never the plan. Because gods are not merciful beings. They are rulers. They are conquerors. They do not share dominion. And now, the war they waged in the heavens long ago is spilling into the mortal realm once more. Greek against Slavic, Titans against celestial beasts, Olympians against the children of Perun. And humanity, caught in the crossfire. There was a time when the gods stood unchallenged. Zeus, mighty and absolute, ruled the skies with his lightning. Hades, dark and relentless, commanded the dead from his shadowed kingdom. Poseidon, furious and vast, stirred the seas with a flick of his trident. But their power was bound to belief. The prayers of mortals sustained them. Their sacrifices fueled the fires of Olympus. Yet, as the centuries passed, the devotion of humanity waned. The temples stood empty. The offerings ceased. And the gods, stripped of their worship, began to fade. They did not die. Gods do not die. They simply slept. For centuries, they drifted in the void beyond time, their forms reduced to mere echoes. Their voices became whispers in the wind, lost beneath the weight of mortal arrogance. They waited, silent and patient, for something to stir them awake. It was not prayer. It was not faith. It was a war. The Greek gods were not the only ones who had faded into legend. Far to the north, beneath the frozen tundras and dense forests, the Slavic gods watched the world change. Perun, the god of thunder, stood vigilant, his eyes ever fixed on the sky. Veils, the trickster and keeper of the underworld, wove his mischief through the shadows of forgotten places. Chernobog, the god of chaos, lingered at the edges of existence, his darkness creeping through the cracks of reality. Unlike the Olympians, they did not sleep. They hid. Deep within the forests, in the places untouched by time, their power remained, buried beneath the roots of ancient oaks and in the murmurs of running rivers. The Slavic gods did not fade entirely, for there were still those who remembered. The old priests, the keepers of forgotten knowledge, those who understood that some things should never be abandoned. And now something has changed. The Greek gods have returned, and the Slavic gods will not allow them to claim dominion. Because the last time they met, in the age before memory, they nearly tore the heavens apart. It begins with a whisper, a strange stillness in the air. Then the signs come. Storms that have no origin rage across the Mediterranean. The sea churns with an unnatural fury, the waves crashing against the shores as if Poseidon himself has awoken. Shadows move through the streets of Athens, whispering forgotten names. In Russia, an unseasonal frost grips the land, creeping through the cities, freezing rivers that should still flow. Animals behave strangely, as if something unseen stirs them into motion. Fires flicker and die without reason. The gods are waking. Zeus stands once more atop Olympus, gazing down at the world he once ruled. He will not let it slip from his grasp again. Perun, seated upon his throne of storm clouds, watches the sky, sensing the challenge. He will not bow. And the others? Hades calls to his shades, the lost souls who cry out for vengeance. Veles moves between realms, weaving mischief into the fabric of reality, setting pieces into motion. Poseidon speaks to the creatures of the deep, summoning forces long thought lost. Chernobog, laughing in the dark, spreads his influence like ink, his chaos bleeding through the cracks in the world. But gods do not fight alone. They have their warriors, their champions. And now, they must choose their sides. Once the gods chose their champions, men and women given divine gifts to fight in the wars of the heavens. Achilles, Odysseus, Hercules, Dobrynya, Ilya Muromets, the great bow-getters of old. But their time is long past. Their stories are now legends, their weapons rusted, their bones dust. Now, the gods must look elsewhere. Some have already been marked. A Greek archaeologist, unaware that the blood of Apollo runs through his veins, begins to hear whispers in the light. A Russian soldier, haunted by dreams of a two-headed eagle speaking in riddles, finds his strength growing beyond mortal limits. A thief in Moscow, whose shadow moves before she does, begins to see things no human should. A sailor in Crete, who cannot drown, no matter how deep he sinks, feels something calling him from the depths. They are waking up. They are remembering who they are. And they are being summoned. It begins in the ruins of Delphi. The oracle's temple, abandoned for centuries, suddenly flares to life with golden fire. Zeus stands before it, his storm gathering above him. The sky roars with power as his call shakes the heavens. But he is not alone. From the shadows, the priests of the Slavic pantheon step forward, their ancient runes glowing with an energy unseen for centuries. Their voices weave old incantations, summoning a force that rivals Olympus itself. The sky splits apart. Lightning cracks, not once, but twice. Two forces, equal in might yet different in nature, clash above the mortal world. Perun descends, hammer in hand, his eyes burning with challenge. And with him, the warriors of the north. This is no war of words, no conflict of politics. This is gods against gods, power against power. And the world trembles beneath their fury. Mortals feel it. Their technology falters. Their satellites blink out. Their carefully built world begins to crumble. Magic, long forgotten, stirs in the cracks of reality. A boy in St. Petersburg dreams of wolves with burning eyes. A girl in Athens sees visions of winged warriors descending from the heavens. The gods are no longer hiding. The war is no longer in the shadows, and humanity must make a choice, to bow before the gods or to rise against them. This is only the beginning. The gods have awakened, and they will not fade again. The war is coming. The pantheons are clashing, and the fate of the world hangs in the balance. But the question remains, whose side are you on? Subscribe now to uncover the secrets of the forgotten gods, the battles that shaped history, and the myths that might not be myths at all. Because the gods are watching, and they are waiting.